going on, guys? It's Two Awesome Men.
And this is our spoiler-free review over Now You See Me Too.
Here we go. This movie brings back the Horsemen from the first film, played by Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Dave Franco, and Mark Ruffalo. The only horseman that does not return for this film is Isla Fisher's character, but we're introduced to a new horseman named Lula, played by Lizzie Kaplan. This film also includes Hollywood heavyweights Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine, as well as Daniel Radcliffe.
In the beginning of this film, Atlas, played by Jesse Eisenberg, has a conversation with a secret organization known as the Eye. Atlas feels that Dylan Rhodes, played by Mark Ruffalo, is not a suitable leader, and he feels that he himself should be the leader of the Horsemen. And because of a mishap during one of their performances, they have to escape, and they find themselves in the penthouse of Walter Mabry, played by Daniel Radcliffe.
Walter wants the Horsemen to steal a chip that he feels that was stolen from him from a former colleague. This chip can be used to monitor people from around the globe using their cell phones. Now we're going to start off with the pros. The acting in this movie was really great, and especially the acting coming from that of Daniel Radcliffe.
Well, I don't know, with Daniel Radcliffe, I'd use the word especially. So the next pro is that the movie was actually a very enjoyable experience. Like the tricks, even though some were a little unbelievable, which we'll get into that in the cons, most of the tricks made the movie like pretty fun to watch. Most of the tricks were pretty cool to see.
Yeah, especially since it also has to do with some of the details, some of the smaller tricks that you saw earlier in the film. You have to really pay attention to the small details in this film because they're put into greater use later on.
Right.
And another big thing that I really liked about this film is that you had a connection with these characters, which is really important in movies. And you really start to care for these characters, like the main guys, like the Horsemen. You really start to fully care for these people. You know? And that's what I really like about this movie. Those are our pros, and so we're gonna get into our cons now.
There's some things in this movie that they don't really explain thoroughly. I mean, there's some parts of the movies that you can sort of infer, but in this movie, it sort of expects you to infer some things that really need to be explained because they don't make sense without it being explained.
Yeah, and also there's just putting on that going out on that thing about scenes. There's also a few scenes in this movie that don't really make a lot of sense. You know, I wish they would have put a little more depth into their thinking with some of these scenes because there's just a few scenes that don't make any sense whatsoever. Also, and another con that I'm going to bring up is the tricks. Now, most of the tricks in this movie, they're pretty realistic. They kind of even though they don't seem realistic, they kind of explain why they're realistic. But there's a few tricks in this movie that are actually just really ridiculous. You know,
sorry, but there's some of the fight scenes. They incorporate some of the magic tricks into the fight scenes, and it makes it fun. It makes it for a fun movie. But some of the tricks that they do in the fight scenes are tricks that magicians have to set up prior to the actual magic trick. So it's sort of unbelievable that they're able to do these magic tricks that need preparation to do in the middle of fighting someone.
Exactly, and even though they try to make it look like they're one step ahead of everybody, you can't be that much ahead of everybody to know what every fight move's going to be.
Yeah.
Now, one thing they try to do in this movie is they try to make it prominent that these characters are not actually magical in any way. But there's just these few scenes, what we were talking about a while ago, that it seems like they actually are magical, especially there's this one scene where they're all throwing this card around so perfectly, it's just ridiculous,
Yeah, and it was really unnecessary for them to be thrown around. I don't want to get into that much, but yeah, it was a little unnecessary. Another con that we want to bring up is Lula. Now, we don't have anything wrong really with the acting by Lizzie Kaplan, but the character of Lula we feel wasn't very we feel that Isla Fisher's character was a lot better than Lula. And I don't know why Isla Fisher didn't return. Maybe I should look it up.
Yeah, I didn't look into that either.
But like Lula is a little like her character. Like not every scene, but pretty much every scene, most scenes that she's in, she's sort of awkward, and that's not. It doesn't really fit with the rest of the characters. I mean, they're a group of magicians that are like super good at like talking their way through things, and they're super smart at sneaking through. And you feel that she'd be able to be a smooth talker too, but like every scene that she's in, she's like has a very awkward moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, she also kind of annoyed me in the movie as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also they didn't do her introduction very well. Now all the magicians, like you saw in the first one, where they showed how all the magicians actually became a horseman.
Right.
You know, they all had some kind of special trick
Yeah.
that they were given. You know that, and they don't really fully go to it in this one, but they don't really fully go into it in this one
Right.
when it comes to Lula. They don't at all talk about how she was found to be a horseman, you know, and I guess we can infer, like, you know, maybe she has a special trick, but they never actually showed what her special trick was.
Right,
either.
yeah. And yeah, we just feel that Isla Fisher's character is a lot stronger. Like, I honestly don't remember anything that Lula does in this movie to help the group, but yeah.
Exactly. And then speaking of characters, I also want to bring up Woody Harrelson in this movie. Not his main character in this movie. Now he actually has another character, and he plays
His twin brother.
I can't remember his name right now, but
Yeah.
whatever. He is a very outlandish character, and it was like kind of his character was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's sort of cheesy the way he was acting. I mean, I just don't feel. I mean, his character was alright. It's just his acting was just sort of cheesy and sort of they could have like toned it down a lot. And another thing, it's not really a con, but something I always notice in Mark Ruffalo's movies, whenever he has a very intense scene and he's talking to someone, his head always tilts like this. Like, I don't know what he's doing. Like, what are you doing, pal? But yeah, it's not really a con. It's just something I always notice in all his movies.
I guess it's better than George Clooney.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's still extreme.
Yeah, I got you. But yeah, so those are our cons for this movie.
All right, so overall, we would definitely recommend this movie. I personally feel that the first one was better than this one, but I still feel this one's a good movie. So overall, I will give Now You See Me 2 a B.
Yeah, and I highly agree with you as well. I'm going to give this movie a B-. So before this video ends, there's one thing I want to talk about. Our cousin, a few weeks ago, did a photo shoot of us. And we'll be posting those pictures up on our Facebook sometime soon. But so he did a photo shoot of us, and we would like to talk about him for a little bit on this channel. And he actually made me look like this.
Oh yeah.
And he made me look like this.
Oh yeah.
And he made both of us look like this. Now, the name of our cousin's company is Advent Image, and if you want to email him, set up some kind of time, some kind of appointment with him, it will be on adventimage@gmail.com.
Yeah, and he also has a Facebook page called Advent Image.
Yeah, so go check that out. We'll put a little link and we'll talk about it a little bit. We'll probably start talking about it a little bit more sometime soon.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Yeah, just go follow him, look him up.
Yeah, and also, if you like our videos and you want to see more, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channels. We're always looking for more subscribers. And we also have a Facebook page, which is also called Two Awesome Men. And we have an Instagram page, even though we have no posts on there yet. But it's called Two Awesome Men.
Yeah, so thank you very much for watching this video. You can go on our channel and actually watch some more of our videos. You got that, same men. Thank you.